To wait till that's.
Recording in progress.
Okay, good evening. Welcome to the Conservation Commission meeting on Thursday, November 20th. This is a hybrid meeting, in person and online. First business is notice of intent for BSE Group for Patricia Ellis. Do we have a number for that?
Yes, a DEP number was just issued.
I see it, okay. SE 832504, proposed new construction of a single-family dwelling, garage, and accessory dwelling unit within the riverfront area and land subject to coastal storm flooding. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Members, for the record, my name is Kieran Healy. I am a land surveyor with the BSC Group, and we're proposing this project at 26 and number 30 Bass River Terrace. With me tonight is the owner of the property, Patricia Ellis. As mentioned, a portion of the property is within the riverfront and a portion of the property is within the flood zone. We are completely outside of the 100-foot wetland buffer, and there are no coastal banks that affect the property. The majority of our work is entirely outside of the riverfront. There is a small sliver of grading that occurs within the riverfront, and as a result, we are proposing mitigation plantings along that edge. Right now, it is a wooded site, and we're proposing to take down trees to construct the new dwelling and the ADU. I was able to meet Brittany out there, and we were able to go through the project and look at the areas where we have our limited work and where the trees need to come down to construct the new buildings. Other than that, is pretty much a straightforward dwelling unit and an ADU accessory with a new Title V septic system that complies with the regulations. Other than that, I'd be glad to answer any questions you may have.
Anybody have any questions? I do, but let me start. You know I was going to ask this. Do we have to really cut down all the trees?
That's actually the very reason that I met Brittany out there, was to go through. We staked out the building early so we could show where the trees are in relation to the building, and the trees are all within 10 to 15 feet or within the foundation footprint itself, and the branches and the canopies would literally be over the building. So we actually, with Brittany and I were out there, we were able to reduce it by a couple of trees on the driveway going in there, but this is pretty much the bare minimum to make this site buildable.
Okay.
Now, all of the trees are outside, the majority of the trees are outside of the riverfront. It's trees within the flood zone, that resource that we're primarily removing.
Anybody have questions?
Yeah. Just would hope that you could replace those dogwoods with oaks rather than non-native.
We don't have a problem with changing the dogwoods to oaks. Absolutely.
Okay. Anybody else?
Just for Brittany, the town of Yarmouth doesn't have a no net loss ordinance equal
For,
trees.
no, not yet.
Is it in the works or?
Not that I know of. Our current regulations for land subject to coastal storm flowage is to retain trees wherever feasible. And so for this project, Karen was concerned about the number of trees they have to remove. Unless they just have stairs and the driveway at grade with no fill, the trees all have to come down in order to get the grade up to 12 where they're proposing the driveway. So.
Yeah. Where I'm from, the norm is, well, I shouldn't say the norm, but no net loss, means you replace the trees that you remove, and that's getting really predominant in many jurisdictions, so I'm very surprised at this. So, yeah, thank you.
Anybody else?
I have kind of like a logistical question. It more has to do with the combination of the two parcels, and how that may play out in the future. Like, are they somehow deeded together. And the reason I bring that up is because I can see that the ADU doesn't meet the setbacks for the building setbacks, which is not this jurisdiction, but also the restoration plantings for 30 would be on, majority would be on 26. So if that was ever sold in the future, there would be a loss of those mitigation plantings.
Currently, there are 5 separate lots out there, and currently they're all on one deed. So there's been a lot of back and forth with the building department about the combination of the lots just by zoning. And there isn't enough upland to subdivide and re-subdivide these lots off, even though they were originally created in 1922 when there was no zoning. But basically, for zoning purposes, they have already been combined. They are registered lots, so the interior lot lines aren't going to get removed without a filing with land court. So at this stage, the building department generally does not require it as long as all the parcels show up on one deed.
Okay, thank you.
What's the driveway would it be comprised of? composed
It's going to be blacktop, and for 2 reasons. One is that because of the flood zone requirements, we literally have to drive up onto the garage, the slab for the garage. But then, secondly, we did provide a trench drain at the bottom, so we would capture anything that comes down that blacktop, and we have a drainage system set in the front of the house to pick up any water that's running off of that driveway.
Brittany?
So you said most of the trees are in the flood zone. Do you know if any of them were in the riverfront area?
I believe there's about 5 in the riverfront area.
Okay, and we're only replacing 3.
And the thing is, it's a wooded lot, so we're only removing the bare minimum to make this happen. So where would we put trees that wouldn't interfere with the building that we're putting in, because it's already a wooded lot? I mean, we could put in some, maybe some arborvitaes or something else like that on the southerly side, just to enhance it a little bit. But it doesn't make sense to plant oak trees because we're going to have a problem with the building if we do so.
Brittany, since they're changing the dogwood to oak, do you have any problems with the other plantings? No.
And
Okay.
there are no, so you said this lot is not buildable.
Correct. And as soon as we put a corner of this ADU over that property line, it eliminates any opportunity to sell that off as an individual lot.
Okay.
Dave,
Yeah.
one more thing. I noticed while we were out there that there's a small stretch that looks like it must have been a dip, where that may have been part of a small stream coming off the,
In front of the property,
yeah.
it's actually a drainage swale.
Uh-huh.
And our driveway, we're proposing to put in an 18-inch culvert, shall we say, to allow that drainage swale to do what it's always been doing.
Okay.
And basically, it's just the way because the ground is so flat and so low, that was put in to construct the roadway when they did that, when they constructed the roadway, and improved the roadway about 15 years ago.
Okay. Thanks.
Anybody else from the commission? No?
So I do have one more question. So the trench drain would just be redirecting the water into the swale that exists on the side? Or there's an infiltration chamber?
If you look at the label, so that right there's the trench drain. Sorry,
This up here.
there's the trench drain
Okay.
on our property.
And then it goes to this infiltration system
And that's the pipe that just allows that
to continue flowing.
Jack was talking about to allow the water to continue.
Ellie has another question.
Just on the tree removal, how many are removed due to the ADU addition
About 3 or 4.
and the 26 others?
The main house, the driveway, and the septic system. We cannot put in a septic system without removing the trees that are associated with it.
Thank you.
Anybody in the audience have any questions or comments? Nobody's online, so I don't have to ask that. Okay. So do we need a revised plan just to show the oak trees?
I would recommend that the commission issue with special conditions pending a revised plan.
Okay.
Just since he said he would swap them out.
Would someone like to make that motion?
So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, you have that? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Aye, no,
You're an aye.
an aye.
Okay. Passed unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members.
Okay. Our next business is SE 83-1463, Patricia Ellis. This is also 30 Bass River Terrace for COC. I understand there's no issues with that?
The work was never completed, so
Okay, work was never completed, so there's no issues. So can I hear a motion to accept the COC?
I do.
Second, anybody?
I'll second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
Next order of business is a notice of intent for SE 83-2494, Cape Cod Engineering for RJ Resorts, Blue Water, excuse me, Blue Water Resort owner, 291 and 301 South Shore Drive, proposed seasonal deck on coastal beach, velocity flood zone, and NHESP habitat. It's been continued a couple of times, but again, we're going to have to continue this again. We're waiting for NHESP comment, and so we're going to continue to 12/4. Natural Heritage asked for additional information about compliance and for their raking permit, and we're not sure they can comply to that because we're not sure they have, they involved bird monitoring until this past summer, so that's something they have to straighten out before they can bring it to us. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Perfectly, all right. So I just need a motion to continue to 12/4.
So moved.
Okay, Pat, second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, great. No one's opposed? Wow, moving right along. Yeah, jeez. Sign
Yeah.
30 Bass River, right?
Yes, please. There should be 2 signature pages.
Okay, there are. I'm so excited about getting home, I forgot about this part. Okay, there are 2 to sign. And where we're at, Chilton Road. Okay, well, you guys are signing. I will read Chilton Road. SE 83-2503 Grady Consulting LLC for Joseph DeCipio, 6 Chilton Road, proposed raise and replace of a single-family dwelling in a land subject to coastal storm flooding and the 35-foot buffer to a coastal bank and beach. If you could introduce yourself and tell us what you want to tell us.
The green cards. Thank you.
Good evening, Scott Fenara with Grady Consulting, represent the applicant Joe DeCipio. What we have here is the proposed raise and rebuild of a existing single-family dwelling. The entire property is within land subject to coastal storm flowage. The existing and proposed house is within the buffer zone to a coastal beach and a coastal bank. The existing house is, the proposed house will be sited no closer to the wetland area than the existing house. There's already a septic system on site, which is past the Title V inspection. The proposal is to keep that same system for this new building. We've done our best to retain as many trees on site as feasible. There is an 18-inch diameter tree near the driveway that he intends to keep. There's a 14-inch pine tree toward the rear of the property. It's leaning pretty close to the house, so we're proposing to remove that. And part of the work, we've proposed pretty significant mitigation planting. which includes several trees, 3 smaller trees to replace that larger pine tree in kind. The mitigation plantings are proposed between the work, the site, and the resource area. I'll leave it at that and listen to any questions.
Start with the commission. Does anybody have any questions? Go ahead, Ally.
Yeah, I just have a question on your square footage comparison to calculate the required mitigation.
Yep.
So the question I have is the concrete walkway to the driveway, is that calculated?
The concrete walkway to the driveway along the right side of the existing building.
It goes from the front, I'm looking at proposed site conditions, the gray.
Do you mind if I just come up to you?
I think you're talking about this area.
Proposed site conditions.
You're talking about this area?
Yeah, it's under proposed site conditions, so
Yeah.
I wasn't sure where this was calculated, this one.
It's within the 35.
Right here.
Sorry.
She's talking about this area here. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, that concrete area on the proposed?
Yeah, just because in your table, you have the gray called out as driveway, and I don't have a digitizer or anything.
Okay.
I probably could have scaled it, I'm sorry, but just want to make sure that calculation for the driveway includes the walkway, that's all.
Yep, it does. It does. It was incorporated within the driveway area on that table.
And then the last thing is, what is with the appendage that's blanked out on the same layout?
The new rinse station, I think. Is that the new rinse station or the old rinse
It's
station?
unshaded.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it just
The new
missed
rinse
some.
station.
Yep.
So what is that, is that a impervious surface of that? It's not colored in or anything?
Okay, for the rinse station, we did not include that in the impervious coverage. It's not really considered an impervious surface because there'll be crushed stone below it.
It's crushed stone, it's not like a concrete
No.
slab or anything?
Nope.
Okay.
But it should be included in the decks and steps, or it should be included in some hardscape calculation. This right here, right? It just should be colored in.
We didn't intend for it to be, no, because we didn't consider that to be an
Oh, it's a
impervious
structure.
surface.
I mean, it's a structure. It's got to be accounted for.
Okay.
And then while we're on the rinse station, this is the old rinse station, right?
Yes, it is.
And you're intending to remove it?
Yes.
Okay, it should be removed from this. This is the proposed on the mitigation sheet.
Okay.
So my question would be, why are you moving the old rinse station into an area that's within the 35-foot to 50-foot, where the old one is between the 50 and the 100-foot?
Yeah, that's a great question. So that existing rinse station, it looks to be partially over that septic system. So it's never a good plan to have any type of water going over the septic. So our goal here was to maintain an existing rinse station, but move it to a location that's
Could you
makes more
move
sense.
the new rinse station over a little bit to keep it out of the 35-foot and just have it in the 35 to 50?
I think that's a reasonable request. Yeah.
Looking down, anybody else? Pat, is that a hand?
Part of your shed here, your enlarged shed goes over the septic system also, it appears.
Yep.
Is that okay?
Yeah, so the shed doesn't have a concrete foundation or anything. It's just on grade. You know, the sheds are movable, so we've never really had an issue with putting it over a system like that.
There isn't, unfortunately, the health department won't allow it at all, any
Okay.
structures. And since we are in the flood zone, the shed would have to be anchored to something. So it would need a sonotube, so it has to be relocated or
Okay.
removed.
In that case, what I would ask is that we maintain that same footprint. But instead of having a square, we'll just elongate it along the side of the house, between the house and that septic system. It'll still be outside that 50-foot buffer, so we won't be getting any closer to the resource area.
Would there be space to put the sonotubes without damaging the leaching field?
There will be, yes. It looks like it.
Okay.
Sorry, I have to find my notes.
Since we're on
Yeah, go ahead.
the subject of sonotubes, I guess, I see you have a raised patio with pervious pavers. I wasn't quite sure what raised patio meant. Is that,
Oh, yeah, so raised just elevated to, I believe, that first floor elevation.
With Phil?
And then there's a detail for that patio on that, on sheet 1. So it's intended to infiltrate stormwater. So it's not a true hardscape like concrete where water is just going to rush off of it. You know, it does have the ability to permeate through.
Jack, you have a question?
Yeah, I was curious what that proposed spiral staircase, what's the landing there, or is that just, there's nothing below? That's going inside your 35-foot?
Yeah, I believe that's to get up to the second floor.
Can that be relocated outside the 35-foot buffer?
Okay.
What's the purpose? Is that the only way up to the second floor? There must be an interior way up to the second floor.
Oh, I'm sure there is. Yeah.
I'm just wondering why you even need it, to be honest with you.
Okay.
I mean, it's in the 35-foot, and I think it'll make things a lot better not to have it.
I don't really have an answer on the design question of that, but we can certainly move it outside the 35-foot buffer along with that rinse station. It looks like there's room to slide both of those features over.
Yeah. Anybody else?
yeah, less so about the house, but is this revetment permitted? I couldn't find a license or associated with it.
What are you asking, what's permitted?
The revetment,
Oh, okay.
I'm
either.
not sure about that. I mean, it's not uncommon for areas like that to have that unpermitted that likely predated any type of regulation. Talking about the revetment between the resource area and the lawn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just didn't see any mention of a license history search in the narrative, so I don't know if it doesn't exist or if it just, you didn't look for it. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah, so I'm not sure if there is a license for it. We can certainly look into it. You know, we're not really proposing any work on that revetment, so that was kind of outside the scope of this project.
It is included on the plan, so I'm just skeptical to approve a plan that has an unpermitted structure in it without doing some sort of due diligence.
Sure, we can look into the license for that. I would imagine that it would have predated any type.
If it does, some sort of label that indicates that the structure predates
The act, yeah.
would be appreciated.
Sure.
Anything else? Do you have any dry wells for the new rinse station and stormwater from the roof?
We do not. Our goal was to not significantly increase the impervious area on this site. You know, and then in certain areas like the driveway, we went with gravel rather than paved. With the patio, we went with those permeable pavers rather than something impervious. And then we believe between that and the mitigation plantings, that there won't be an increase in runoff.
So with the pervious pavers, where do you think the water's gonna go? Just between the pavers?
It's going to go into the ground.
Just between it's not gonna run off the pavers into some place else? In other words, there's not gonna be hardscape between the pavers, it's gonna be dirt of some kind?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, so there's, they use this poly sand between the blocks that allows the water to infiltrate through.
Okay,
Yeah, and that can't be sealed up.
okay.
I'm sorry, what is it you're putting in?
It's a poly sand that allows the water to,
Require maintenance,
yes, it does,
so that'll be a part of conditions.
certainly.
Quick, yeah, just a quick one. You have, on the existing site, you have a notation of the mean high water.
Mhm.
Is there a measurement, or are you just, is there a measurement for that, the mean high water?
Yeah, those come from NOAA, for not showing, looking for
The elevation?
an actual value.
Yeah, I just wanted to relate the contours with what the mean high water level was.
Yeah, we can add that elevation for the mean high, mean low onto the plan.
And if you're adding that, if you could just add the note saying that it references NAVD 88. That's the projection we require for that,
Yep, okay.
please.
Just a minor thing, we're not allowed to have outdoor showers, we're only allowed to have rinse stations, so if you would label that properly.
I thought that had been corrected, but,
I don't know, I've looked at so many things lately, it does say rinsing station?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
yeah, I think that was one of Brittany's comments, our initial submittal, so
Okay,
we
sorry
have
about
revised
that.
that.
Anybody else?
Nope.
Brittany? Did we miss anything?
Yeah, I have a couple of additional comments. I just want everyone to understand that the 35-foot buffer zone is a no disturb zone. And so it is intended that no additional hardscape or structure be allowed in the 35-foot buffer without an explicit variance gifted from the commission. And that if a variance is requested, the commission can outline the mitigation ratio as they see fit. The applicant used the same mitigation ratio for the 50-foot buffer as the new coverage in the 35-foot buffer. And I think if you're going to consider granting the variance, you should increase the ratio for the 35-foot buffer. I would also recommend the commission strongly consider the fill that's proposed under the pervious pavers. 58 cubic yards of fill is being proposed in the no disturb zone. It's always under your discretion whether or not to gift a variance, but I think an elevated deck would serve the same purpose without bringing in fill if you're going to approve that footprint for an additional hardscape in the 35-foot buffer.
It's in my notes, and I meant to mention that a raised patio that's a patio that's a woodscape versus pervious pavers would be, especially within the 35, would be preferred. I think you're more likely to get approval from me anyway. Can't speak for other people. Do you
I
try to say
agree.
something?
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know that he was done.
Yeah, I just had one more. So since everything predates the act, no buffer exists on the coastal bank. It's just the top of the coastal bank is lawn. And so with new revetments and new development, I understand this is redevelopment that predates the act, but we would usually request a 10-foot buffer. It would be a standard, given that there's no buffer. So perhaps the mitigation ratio would meet that if he increased the ratio for the proposed structure and hardscape in the 35. Perhaps it wouldn't, but a 10-foot buffer where none currently exists would be a good thing to request if the commission decides to do so. That's all. Thank you.
I'd like to see a 4-to-1 ratio at the 0 to 35 feet. Would that, you think that would,
I don't know. I haven't done the math.
okay. Yeah, I think a 10-foot buffer would be needed, certainly something we've required from other people.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely.
Maybe we could see decrease in the size of the patio within the 35?
Or ask them about a wooden patio, your
A wooden
clients.
and decrease size.
Okay. Thank you.
So I guess I'm a little confused. If the raised patio is only this detail here, why is there a need for fill?
I guess not sand, but they're filling it with stone and gravel to raise the grade.
Oh,
The whole grade is coming up for the patio to sit flush with the first floor.
And so on the sheet one, then the bottom left, the porous paver patio detail, that shows what will be below the pavers. I mean, it's our opinion that this porous paver patio would serve the same purpose as a deck, because we're allowing this significant area of crushed stone to capture the runoff. You know, where a deck, I guess, you know, the thought is that the water's going to go between the slots. In this situation here, the water's going to go between the blocks and then permeate down into the crushed stone. So, and I can speak with the applicant, see if he'd prefer to go with the deck, but just wanted to at least provide that justification for why we came up with the pervious pavers over the deck.
I do understand that. I don't think the commission, I know it's stone and not typical fill, but you're still changing it's in the flood zone and you're still bringing up the base grade, I guess, with non-native material. So in the event of a flood, it may divert the flood water around the patio instead of flowing underneath.
Yeah. Also, that existing,
I have a question. There's a retaining wall, so there's stairs.
there
Is
are.
that correct?
Yes. Yep.
Oh, okay. Did not understand that.
So raised is
How
raised up
tall
to
is
the
that
elevation of
retaining
that first
wall?
floor.
How tall is the retaining wall?
Right. Oh, it's 8 feet. That seems high.
It's 8 feet.
Oh, sorry. I'm looking at the wrong measurement.
Upper wall is 13.7.
No, it's about 5 feet. The grade's there at 9.4, and the first floor is proposed at 14.3.
Okay,
So yeah, about 5 feet.
5 feet.
That would be why there's 58 cubic
yards, yeah.
Okay.
So we need a section through that. I have no idea what that retaining wall is holding up, and I imagine it's all that fill where it could be, alleviated if we just,
Retaining walls are also not allowed in the flood zone under our regulations.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. well,
It might be better if it was a raised deck rather than a retaining wall, and
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, my point is, it's pretty substantial fill if it needs a 4.5 to 5 foot high retaining wall. So, yeah.
Just one more thing to point out. So that existing building, as you know, a lot of these older buildings are not designed with any type of flood venting or anything. So when water comes in, it just kind of stops at that foundation. And this new building with the new building codes, we do have all these smart vents, so the flood waters are just going to go right through. So if you think about the footprint of that existing building being, let's say, 1,500 square feet, now with this new building, the water's allowed to go straight through. So if the concern was about, flood water with that raised patio, it's really offset by these flood vents. But again, if the position, the commission is that you prefer to have a deck over the patio, then we'll likely take that advice.
Okay.
I think it's that we'd prefer a raised deck over a retaining wall rather than the pervious patio. I think that's the sticking point.
Okay.
Could you,
Yeah, over here.
go ahead, Paul.
Brittany, could you go back to some of the pictures of the property you're talking about, where the retaining wall would be, where the deck would be? Do you have pictures? Well, you really wouldn't, it wouldn't pertain, though, to that building, because it's going to be a new building.
Yeah, this is
Right. Yeah,
the same footprint. So these stakes, this is where the 5-foot
Yeah.
retaining wall is proposed, right here, which is 17 feet away from the top of the bank
okay.
No disturb area.
in a no disturb zone.
What?
So in a no disturb zone under our regulations, noting that it's already developed.
Okay, all right.
Brittany, do you have any?
And I had
Thank
one
you.
last final question. You said repairs as needed to the staircase.
Correct.
do you think repairs will cut it, or do you think you'll need to replace this? It looks quite dangerous. The only comment would be if you propose to replace it, just throw detail on the plan so that if you need to replace it, it'll be to a detail that the commission has approved because seems likely.
Okay, yeah, we can certainly do that.
I had trouble with the reading of the mitigation table. Maybe it's me, but is there a way to just redo it to be a little clearer? I think you might have a few things in the wrong spot under the 50 to 100.
Yeah, we can certainly change it if you don't mind just pointing out to me which areas are confusing.
I don't know whether, I tried to do the math on the 50 to 100, and didn't seem to come out right, but it could be me, so I'm not going to argue with it. I think just, I think the 270 where it says difference, shouldn't that be under mitigation
Proposed.
proposed?
Nope, so this is actually an Excel sheet, so it sums it up for us, but the 270 is the mitigation required. You know, in the 50 to 100, you have a 2-to-1 mitigation requirement. So if we're increasing the area by 135, we're required to provide 270 in mitigation.
I see it, okay.
And then obviously our mitigation, we're not going to propose it in the 50 to 100. We want to propose as close to the resource area as possible, which is why we put it on the 0 to 35.
All right. Anybody else? Yep, okay.
Summarize.
What the variance would be for the variance.
So the variance they're proposing is for a new structure and hardscape within the 35 no disturb, for new structure within the 50-foot no build zone. And one that we have in there is no new structures are allowed in the 100-foot buffer until the 50-foot is fully restored. But that is not possible on this site, otherwise it would become unbuildable.
But have we seen best effort in minimizing the impact within the 35-foot? I mean, could we ask for some kind of effort in?
Yeah, that's the
minimizing-
point of that last one, for no additional new work in the 35
Yeah.
until, a significant buffer is replaced, because the end goal is to have the 50 fully vegetated on most properties. Obviously, there are many properties in Yarmouth where that's impossible. So I think the 10 to 12-foot buffer as a standalone would be a good place to start, regardless of the mitigation ratios required because of the intrusion into the 35.
Before we even consider any.
Additional,
Right.
yeah.
Exactly, right. So it's sort of a step, a process. So yeah, can we ask for that
Yeah.
first?
First,
I mean, yeah,
okay.
right? Best effort.
Well, I think
If
we've
they're
asked
trying
for
to
some
accomplish-
revisions that may change how much new material is being added.
Yeah, I mean, this, as an incremental.
Talking about two-step process.
Yeah,
Next
thank
step
you.
would be the mitigate, the buffer zone, and then the
Yeah,
step after that would be the building, once
Yeah.
we approve the buffer. Is that what you're saying?
yes.
That you can do that, but it may be more reasonable to help the applicant streamline the process if you have a vision of what you're looking for. So provide the 12-foot buffer and decrease the hardscape in the 35
Yes,
at the same time.
that's Roman numeral number 1.
Yes.
Decrease the impact within the 35-foot buffer.
If so part of this, from this discussion, what I've taken is that we will increase this buffer to at least a 4-to-1 from the impacts from the 0 to 35, which would likely result in, about a 12-foot buffer between the resource area and the site. That patio, we will remove the patio and the retaining walls, and we'll come up with an elevated deck, with adequate spacing for stormwater to penetrate through. The spiral staircase and the not shower, the rinse station, will be moved outside of the 35-foot buffer. So, with those significant concessions, I think that this could be an approvable plan. Obviously the alternative is he could just renovate the house and, leave the lawn as is. The lawn goes right up to the resource area. So I think this is a significant improvement of the site compared to what an alternative would be here.
I agree with everything you said, although it is very much the preference and our standard to have dry wells, gutters and dry wells, if you can find space for them.
Okay, yeah, the challenge with the with the site of this size, dry wells are supposed to be 50 feet from a septic system.
Maybe just one in the front.
One thing I neglected to point out here was these mitigation plantings along the resource area. We are proposing a 6-inch depression to capture some of that stormwater runoff, similar to a rain garden, if you will. And then with this buffer increase from, it looks like we're just ballparking, maybe we'll say 7 or 8 feet off right now. We're going to increase that to about 12. That'll provide a greater volume with that depression to capture this runoff. So I think that is a reasonable alternative to a dry well.
Yes, I would agree.
Do we need to see a section of that in the resubmittal?
It's just a little unclear how long it is. It just says provide depression.
Okay.
So just show how.
Yeah, sure. We can. We'll
it might be
dimension. We'll
just the
dimension it there,
lines.
and we can add a detail for that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, I see it. It's just very faint.
Yep.
Anything else, Brittany? Before we go to the audience?
Do we need to summarize?
So yeah, what I have is add NAVD 88 mean high and mean low water, replace the patio with a deck, relocate the rinse station and spiral staircase outside the 35-foot buffer, include a 12-foot buffer, and consider reducing the size of the patio, and do some research into the revetment licensing. Provide a detail for the new proposed staircase if needed, and the depression, rain garden.
And the mean water level.
That was the first thing I said.
Yeah.
It was a long list. Okay.
Change the shed.
Oh, and relocate the shed. Reconfigure.
Is there anybody in the audience who wants to say anything or ask any questions? Yes, would you just go up to the microphone
microphone.
up there, introduce yourself, and
David Sprague. I live at 15 Bradford Road, and I went through this before years ago on this changing the house plan and stuff like that. I thought you had to stay with the footage, what you have right there now. You couldn't change that without going through a whole big ordeal.
you changing the foundation footage?
Yes.
Are you changing the foundation footage?
We are. Yes.
I went through that with the building department.
Can you describe the changes?
Yep.
You mean the footprint?
Yes, you could change the footprint of the house.
There's just the two, so
Yeah,
there's
so there-
two small, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so essentially that back corner, he's intending to square off. If you look at the mitigation table under the building top line, it results in an increase of 40 and 167, so about 200 square feet increase of building footprint.
But it's located no closer than the existing dwelling to the coastal bank.
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you.
And how high is this building going up?
So I believe the maximum building height is set by the zoning board, and we aren't going any higher than that. I'm not sure if we have the exact height on here, but the max building height will be 35 feet, so it'll certainly be less than 35 feet.
We were told by neighbors that he had talked to him that he wasn't changing the height of wasn't putting the second floor, he was staying with the same footprint, and staying with just the first floor.
Brittany, is that within our?
I don't know what their second floor plans are. We only look at the footprint here in
I
conservation.
understand.
That would be a building question, a building, and,
Exactly.
yeah, not for us.
Yeah.
Right. And like it says, they have to, as far as you talked about a deck, I couldn't put a deck on my house because the square footage of the lot the house is bigger than what they require for the square footage of the lot. So I don't know if this goes into play or not.
Those are also not our regulations.
Is that the building department? Okay.
So once, if we get approval from this board, the applicant will have to go to the building department and get permits.
Okay.
You have to meet all those regulations that you mentioned.
Okay.
So, heard that comment from the audience. You can also propose an at-grade permeable patio if the deck is being limited elsewhere by building. We're just not looking for that wall to be there. So if you can do the at-grade patio or the deck that's elevated to meet the first floor.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you.
All set.
Okay. Anybody else in the audience? He's online, so I don't have to look there. Okay.
So the
We're
next.
gonna have to have a continuance. It's either December 4th or the
4th,
18th, or
18th.
get into January, which is ever,
What date are we on now?
We're in November 20th, so 2 weeks is December 4th, or 4 weeks
Yeah.
is the 18th, but we do need the plans 1 week ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So if
So
you
the
go for the
4th
4th, it's 1 week turnaround.
Sure. We'll go for the 4th, please.
Okay.
because remember you have Thanksgiving in there, so what day would we have it to? Would be the 27th.
It would just be the day before.
Would be due,
26th?
yeah, you have fewer days than,
Oh, is that that's the pine tree there, right?
Yeah, back
The
there.
back, yep.
This is it's also damaged.
One little
It's got a big scar in the middle.
the dying tree.
I know.
Not great. Okay, December 4th.
Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, someone want to make a motion to continue to December 4th, was it?
Yes.
December 4th.
So moved.
Okay, second? Second, Frank? Jack? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you for your time and your comments.
Thank you.
I saw you took copious notes, so. All right, give me a second to do all this. Okay. Certificate of compliance, SE 83-2148, Great Island Ocean Club, Powers Lane. Any issues with this?
No, it was continued for beach grass planting, and they have completed that. We just need a continuing condition number 14 for their stormwater management plan.
Okay. So can I hear a motion to accept this, to give these certificates of compliance?
So moved.
And second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Okay.
Opposed? Next two have to be continued, if I'm right, the two Heritage
Yes, but we do have to vote on the mitigation plan.
of,
He submitted a mitigation plan for your review for the two Heritage Drive items.
I have that plan.
I don't
We
think
have
we
the-
got that plan.
I don't think we have.
Since it's just a COC, it was just online. Sorry. I will make sure to get you copies next time.
okay, so let me read it in.
Yeah, and he's here to
SE
present.
83-1899, Deborah Salvucci, I hope I pronounced that right, 54 Heritage Drive, and 73-923, Deborah Salvucci, 54 Heritage Drive. You want to say something, I assume, right, Brittany? Comes to
You can go
first.
ahead.
Okay.
Yes. Good evening, Commission Chairman and members. Peter Hansen from Peter Hansen Landscape Design. I'm here with Deborah Salucci regarding 54 Heritage Drive. Real quick history. When the house was built in 2012 by Jim Bird, we did the landscape work there, and part of the allow the house to be built where it was, we had to do a mitigation planting, which was completed back in 2012 as proposed. And basically, didn't hear anything. I'd go by and check out the landscape in the front of the house. Never really looked. I did a couple times, looked out back, but not recently. So 2 months ago, or this summer, got a call from Deborah Savucci regarding some of the original mitigation plantings had died, and also a section of a patio was added, and Brittany, somebody had contacted her, I believe it was Brittany, regarding a mitigation plan for the increased patio space. So one of the plans shows replanting the original mitigation area, and the second one is for the patio. I think it's pretty straightforward. I've worked with Brittany's been great to kind of guide me through to what the commission was looking for, and we want to get this put away. Excuse me, it's going to be either a spring or a fall planting because it's too late now, but I would just open it up for questions from any of the commissioners.
Yeah, sorry we didn't get you hard copy plans. So the original, the 1899 was for removal of invasive species and a couple of damaged cedar trees where they had this mitigation area put in. A lot of the plants have died, and so they're proposing to replant the original mitigation area to fill the original component. And then there was a patio expansion, like he said, over here outside the 50-foot buffer, but still not on the original permit, so required additional mitigation. So he's allotted an additional several feet of lawn removal with new mitigation plantings directly adjacent to the original mitigation plantings in order to make up for that additional hardscape.
I forgot we visited this.
We did visit.
Yeah, I forgot that.
Yeah. And there's a little path out here, which is why there's a gap here right next to the top of the coastal bank, because there's a little an area you can walk through. And I think the mitigation plan is good, approvable, lots of natives going in at some large sizes. But I would recommend that the commission approve these plans with spring planting, because they do have to be in place for 2 years prior to the COC issuance. And so they would have to continue it to fall 2020, sorry.
27?
Yeah, fall 2027.
If they do it in 2026 in the spring, 2 years would be, wouldn't that be?
2 seasons, yeah.
2 seasons, okay. You got me. All right, can you go back to the picture for a minute? That one?
Yeah.
Is that sprinklers on the picture?
Yes.
We talked about it last time.
Yeah.
You did with them?
We did.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, I apologize.
You were here, right? Yes, she was here.
Okay.
Is the applicant Heritage Drive Realty or Ms. Salvucci? I mean, I'm looking.
Yes.
Are we looking at SE 83, 1899?
Yes.
1899, 1923, both.
Yes, both. Yeah, so the original orders were just put under the trust.
Under the, okay.
Yeah, but they're owned, it's the same owner, it's the same.
Okay, got it.
Same property.
Got it.
And just a reminder that the mitigation area is intended to be naturalized, so you can hand weed invasives and weeds, but no, it really shouldn't be sheet mulched. You can leave the mulch that's there now, but don't apply any new mulch.
I didn't this year either. Yeah.
Okay, so we just need a motion to,
I would recommend a motion to approve the mitigation plans with planting in the spring, and no additional disturbance in the area, and continuance. You can separate them if you want
continue
to
to,
9/16/2027.
If I could make a comment, just because we talked about having the mitigation area naturalized, Shamrock inkberries is a dwarf varietal. I just wanted to note that to the commission and just make sure you're comfortable accepting a native varietal that's, I believe, a shorter.
Yeah, they're pretty teeny. If you can get the straight species, but they're not always available.
Understood.
The compactor is a native variety. That's the straight species gets too wild, but the compactors we use a lot in conjunction or in lieu of the shamrock.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Bradford that maybe if you can't get the straight species, you can just plant something else from your list.
Sure, that's fine. Thank you.
Do I hear a motion? Oh, anybody? Jack, second?
I'll second.
Okay. You all know what we're voting on, right?
Yes.
You read the motion again, please?
Yeah. I can't say the motion. It has to be one of you.
Oh. Somebody
The motion
tell
is
me what the
to
motion is.
accept the, made the motion, but it's to accept the planting plan and
Continue.
revised mitigation plan, thank you.
And-
And continue to
Fall of 27.
9/16.
9/16, okay.
Okay, you got that, Paul?
Is that on SE 83, 1923?
Where the first one is 1988, we will have to do the same thing. We can just redo the same vote for
Does
1923.
that motion relate to 1899 or 1923?
Yes, so there are two mitigation plans, but we do need to make that same motion
For both?
for both.
Okay.
We can't put them into one motion?
I think you can.
Okay.
Same mitigation plan.
Same
There are two mitigation
mitigation plan for
plans.
SE 83, 899, and SE 83, 1923.
But they each have their own respective mitigation plan.
Right.
Yeah.
And they each will have to be done by 9/15/27.
Well, they'll have to be planted in the spring in
Well,
order to
then
get that, yeah.
Continue to 9/15/27. Okay, we still move it again, Jack?
Yeah.
Okay, and second?
I'll second, yep.
Okay, all in favor?
Motion to.
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
Thank you very much for your time. And thank you, Brittany, for your help on that.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Right.
17.
Our next one is SE 832375, Leonard Orlando, 17 Wild Rose Terrace, permitted addition, after-the-fact plan for additional hardscape in the buffer zone to a BVW. They're asking for a continuance. Is that correct?
Yes, to January 15th, 2026.
Okay. 1/16/26. Sounds like a long way away, but it really isn't.
Oh, did we miss any signatures?
Oh. Did we pass Chilton? No. Powers Lane, I have to sign. I'm just not very good at these signature things. I used to make fun of Ed. Now I know where we... And what is this one? Heritage, we don't sign, am I right, or do we? All right, so now we're caught up. I need a motion to continue 7883-2375.
So moved.
Second? Anybody? Okay, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, before we move on to the minutes, can I have you introduce Christian?
Sure. On Tuesday, the select board voted to appoint another commissioner to fill our last vacant seat. Christian Bova is here to observe until he gets sworn in next week or in a couple of weeks. And so we'll have a full board for the first time in a few years,
Unless we scared him away.
unless we scare him away, which I hope we didn't.
We tried so hard.
Coming.
Okay, approval of minutes for 10/16/25. Is there anybody who can't vote on that?
It's not noted.
So
Okay.
long ago.
Let me check. You guys can just vote, and then
Okay.
if we can't do it, I'll eliminate.
Jacques, you have something to say? You're gonna
No, just
make the motion.
make a motion.
Okay.
Not
Anybody-
my usual.
All right, second, I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Now we're going to talk about the proposed policy updates, so
Ellie abstained.
you're going to take over that, right?
Yes. Did everyone get a chance to review the proposed updates I sent? This can just be an informal discussion if we want to make edits. I got some new information today. David asked me to reach out to see if any other towns had requirements for the landscape planting plans. So what I was proposing is, just because of our past experience with planting plans, there seems to be some difficulty putting together a good planting plan, to have a professional who works in the landscape, horticulture, wetlands industry prepare or sign off on those plans, so that we can avoid planting plans that aren't suitable for our sensitive wetland buffer sites. Mashpee does require that a wetland specialist or horticulturist make the plan. They also require that they sign a contract with, the owner signs a contract with this specialist to take care and plant the plants. And Chatham has just a landscape plan requirements similar to our plan requirements.
Did you review that about signing a contract? What did you say?
Yeah, they require the applicant to sign a contract with a horticulturist or wetland specialist to provide the monitoring reports at the time before the COC, before the order of conditions is issued. So we always require monitoring reports, and then most of the time we don't get them. So that would be an interesting strategy. I'm not sure if we want to do that quite yet, but it would definitely guarantee success.
I guess my comment would be that I'd like to see, leave open the opportunity for people to do things themselves. And if we could have it prepared by or reviewed and initialed by.
Yeah. Prepared or signed off or reviewed by, that's what I
So,
agree.
Written
well, they could,
approval of some sort.
if it's okay with you or whoever, the board, commission, could go to a garden place and have them do the plan and then sign off on it.
Yeah.
They're, professionals,
What do you mean, like going, excuse me?
Green Spot.
Green
or-
Spot?
Yeah, I mean, that type of place. I mean, if
They
they
just
want to
have
do
to
it
be qualified.
themselves. I'm sorry, what?
They just have to be qualified.
Right.
So,
But I mean, if you went to Green Spot or you went to Country Garden or wherever you went, you would ask them to sign off mostly to identify the species of plants that they're putting in, to determine, for example, that they're native species, not where they are on the property.
Right, that the species themselves would grow in that area that they're planting in. So if it's a shady area, they would have species.
I don't know how they would do that just
Not-
by signing off on it.
Say
They
that?
have to go see the property and,
Yeah, not to knock the Green Spot or any other
yeah.
nursery, but I don't know if a nursery has the capacity to review plans and stamp.
Yeah, I mean,
Some do,
I would
some
keep
don't,
the
but-
Some do, some don't, but
landscape or wetlands or horticulture professional, or and a registered landscape architect or a certified ecological restoration
Yeah.
Uh,
practitioner.
Certified is the key word.
Yeah,
The only thing about it, of course, we're adding cost to the process, and so, I would want to try to minimize that for the public, but maybe it's not possible to do that. I think if you walked into a garden center, you wouldn't get the desired outcome, I mean, it depends who you would talk to. So maybe it just has to be with a professional.
I would say that
certified, I
at
don't know what
least
they're certified for.
more than half of the engineering surveyor companies that file with us have somebody like that on staff.
Yeah.
Some of them don't, but a lot of them do. So in some cases, it may raise costs, but in other cases, it would just be same old and notice
They're
of
the same.
intent.
Well,
Yeah.
even when they do have sort of capabilities, doesn't mean the owner needs to use their person. They can go out to some people that just provide that.
Yeah. Okay.
Cheney and other kind of people that do that.
Absolutely. So you guys can just discuss, and we don't have to make a decision about it, but,
I'll maybe come up with a little different language from what we said, or,
is there general support, or do we not want to do that?
We have a size limitation, I mean.
Yeah, I was gonna,
Small,
yes, did I not put that in there?
yeah, you did. I think.
Okay, less than 250 square feet, you don't have to,
yeah, yeah.
because that's,
Say that again?
if it's less than 250 square feet, you don't have to do this.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Anything larger,
Is there any kind of, no matter what size, 250 feet or whatever, that there's some degree of sensitivity of a particular landscape that really would rather, really need somebody to look at that rather than just let them,
that's true. Except for small areas within the outer buffer.
yeah. Good idea.
So you want to work on this before you vote on it?
Yeah, we can do some
work
revisions
on
and give it back. The next one is just general, that would benefit from having in a policy somewhere that all wetlands restoration plans must be stamped on a surveyed site plan and designed and implemented by a wetland specialist or certified ecological restoration practitioner, just to avoid having a regular engineering company with no experience doing this type of work just submit a plan without having certain qualifications.
How should this be changed, the part about designed, similar to the above?
I don't think it should have any size limit. If you're doing a wetlands restoration in wetland,
Or even having just a sign off by somebody?
I disagree with,
No,
so
I'm not.
wetlands specific restoration, we're not buffer zones. Like salt, this is salt marsh or wetland restoration. I think that should be the highest level of scrutiny, and it should be on a surveyed site plan.
One question I asked Brittany when we talked about this was how often does this happen without one? And it's a rare occurrence, but, so most people do have a wetland specialist.
But it would just be protecting us with the ability to reject a notice of intent from somebody who is not on this list of qualifications.
And this is within our purview,
Absolutely,
and is anybody gonna get ticked off in the
maybe.
town?
In town, no, I think it's fully reasonable, and I think you would deny a project anyway if they came up with,
think we have done
without,
that.
yeah. I think it would just, this is kind of housekeeping, just to put it in writing.
Yeah.
Let's save a trip for one of the people coming to us when we say, well, you need a
Well,
wetland
you haven't
specialist.
provided enough information.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing it probably does is clean up things for the conservation agent, because if you get all kinds of
Yeah,
unsatisfactory plans in front of you, you've got to go back and forth in terms of that particular problem. So, you know, it'd probably be an efficiency to make sure, and it doesn't seem to be unreasonable, and given the subject matter, you know, the wetland protection.
It's sort of a pay now, save later.
yeah,
Right.
You mean, so that they don't get mad at Brittany?
and Joe, yes, but mostly me.
Just us.
I told Brittany and Joe to send them, to have them get mad at me.
Yeah, I like people being mad at me, to tell you the truth.
You're the vice chair, so I'll send it to you afterwards.
Do you want to vote on that one?
Can we vote, we need to vote, or?
Yeah, it's policy.
So someone like to make a motion to accept the language of number 2?
Yeah, I move that we accept the language regarding wetland restoration.
And Paul, you're seconding?
Second, yep.
All in favor? Aye. Anybody opposed? Okay. Number 3?
All right. So number 3 is for our as-built plan requirements. And it also just kind of coincides with our regular plan requirements. So I'm just proposing, I don't know why I put this whole long list here, to add as-built plans to our plan and drawing requirements, because we've been getting some as-built plans that are completely empty and just show the structure, and it doesn't give us enough information to tell whether they're in compliance with the original plan, which has so much detail, resource areas, contour lines, mitigation plans. So they're very easy to misconstrue information. And so I think if we just apply their current plan and drawing requirements to as-built plans as well, and maybe add a few things, it would be much better for the commission and staff to determine compliance.
Yeah, I suspect that as-built plans are generally, people think of them as for septic,
Yeah.
and that those that are inspected all the way along, and ours are not quite the same.
We can call them project completion plans if you want,
Well, that's a good point, maybe, and people won't get us
or
confused.
compliance plan, like conservation compliance plan.
Nice.
Oh, thanks. And the only things, Ellie added a good point that we don't have a current scale requirement. And she recommended that we require all plans to use an engineering scale and only accept certain list of plans, scales, 1 to 20, 1 to 10, or 1 to 30. So nothing larger, because it would be too small for us to see anything on the plan, like the farm.
That's sort of industry standard.
The only outlier I would add to the as-built plan that's not currently on our regular plan requirements would be if you applied for a view corridor, showed on the as-built plan, showing the markers that you put in, and the total square footage of the mitigation plan. Everything else would be just straight copy and paste from our regular drawing and plan requirements.
Could you put something in this type of thing that says that any plans that don't meet these requirements will be returned prior to, until the corrections are made?
Yeah, so this is the process Joe and I go through when we accept a notice of intent. We review the plan, and if they don't meet the plan requirements, we send them away.
You go back, okay, great.
Sometimes we miss stuff because we have to review every notice of intent the day they come in. They usually always come in on the same day. So we're doing speed review when it really has to be very specific. But I think these would help bring better plans to the commission.
I'm all for that.
Yeah.
I would somehow keep I'd recommend keeping the as-built definite word in there.
As built, okay.
Yeah, because that's, again, that's industry.
Industry standard, okay.
As-built drawings.
Yeah.
I would agree, yeah.
Engineers.
Okay, I'm happy to rewrite this too, because I added a couple things on a whim and present it back as a final draft.
Do you want us to vote, or you want us to wait till we see your final draft?
You should probably wait.
A second vote.
So much trust in you.
Thank you, but
Okay, so we wait. So, I think, anybody have any other business not reasonably anticipated?
Just want to mention that, of course, if everybody attended town meeting, that the tremendous work that Brittany did on the land acquisition, it went through overwhelmingly and with very little questioning, actually, which was a surprise to me. And so we have to thank
Kudos.
Brittany and thank the town for
And
approving
you
it.
too for bringing it to your group too.
Yeah.
ooh,
Anything else? Okay, do I hear a motion to adjourn? So moved.
I'll second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.